on the airwaves today. Holy, I guess maybe this will be more of a VOD consumed program. A lot of live football content. I get it. People are checking out, is what it is. But I still love me some baseball. So we are going to chop up some baseball because every team in the majors play tonight. And I am here for it, man. I am excited for tonight's slate on both Fanduel, DraftKings, PrizePicks, Yahoo, wherever you play. So no matter when, where you are consuming this content, hopefully it will help you navigate the mean streets of the player pools. Come out with some guys you want to get access to, get exposure to. And if you want to see where I end up, ultimately, you can do so with a premium subscription at rundfs.com. That's the place where we don't just play DFS, we run DFS. If you guys are curious where my final player pool ends up, I do have a player pool tab in the spreadsheet, my tiered pitching, my favorite players at each position, and then, of course, most importantly, my stacks and my stack percentages. So go check that out. You also get access to the power of the MLB DFS spreadsheet, including the index portal, the bomb detector, and so much more. And then, of course, this weekend, the NFL Week 2 full coverage with the NFL spreadsheet, including player pools and GPP targets, all that good stuff. So check that out. Like I said, all 15 teams in MLB play tonight, so we're going to be focusing on each game as quick as possible. That way, I don't go over time, because 15 games is really easy to go over time. But I guess with chat being so quiet right now, we won't have too much of a problem. What up, Sean? Let me get the first game punched in. We don't have a lot of lineups yet either. Usually we get 5, 8, 10 lineups by now. However, we just have a couple, just 3 so far. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go. But we do have a Rockies lineup. It's going to look like Garrett Hampson, Brandon Rogers, Charlie Blackmon, Trevor Story, CJ Crone, Ryan McMahon, Hello, I'm Elias Sam Hilliard. So basically as projected. Let's get Hampson spelled correctly. Get that green lighted. Let's go to the Nats side. We got Lane Thomas, Alcides Escobar, Juan Soto, Josh Bell, Yadiel Hernandez in the 5 spot, Kybert Ruiz, Carter Kieboom, and then Luis Garcia. Yeah, I don't know where everyone's at, Sean. I would imagine. So I know there's a bunch of NFL live shows right now. So I'm just assuming people care about NFL more than baseball, which is cool. Whatever. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. What up, Danny? Mi amor. All right, so game number 1, Hermann Marquez taking on Josiah Gray. Implied total for the Rockies 4.6, Nationals 4.5. Not a ton of implied runs to be had here. Pitching wise, I definitely would have interest in Hermann Marquez. Has had a couple hiccups on the road in his last 5 or 6 games. However, I do feel like in the grand scheme of a 15-game slate, he does have good enough stuff that to have exposure to on a slate like this. On the season, on the road, just 15 DKP per game. But you guys know his strikeout potential is there. 6, 5, just about a strikeout per inning in a normal game. So I'll have some Marquez. I won't get too egregious with it. 25 DKP against the Phillies. That's what you want. And against a team like the Nats, there are okay strikeout rates, half and half in this lineup, right? We got half under 20%, the other half over 20% in the pitcher spot. So just in the back end of my pitcher player pool, because I don't have a ton of interest in stacking these teams. Kind of the same song and dance for Josiah Gray. Elevated xFIPs with elevated home run rates, but you don't really run to the Rockies, especially the Rockies on the road, to get into a big game. If we were going to pick on Josiah Gray with his elevated home run rates, the guy that projects the best in my model is Trevor Story, and then CJ Crone. So maybe I'll have a smitter spatter of those two, and then I'll invent new words tomorrow when we hit another slate. I think both pitchers are viable in the back end of 150 lineups just because of their strikeout potential. Josiah Gray still has a 14.5% strikeout rate, but the underlying metrics, the SIERA, the expected ERA, the WHIP, all that is extremely elevated, so it is a risk at worst, and that is something that I would be very cognitive of when setting ownership exposures. I don't think you have to go crazy with any of these supplementary back end of the pitcher playing pool type of guys because of how big the slate is. I don't know that we get extremely concentrated ownership at one place or the other. Josiah Gray has gotten us over 20 DKP once in his last 10, so even less reason to get there. So yeah, just very, very low interest in the pitching here. Gray will give up some bombs. Hermann Marquez, a little bit more respect for him, but his power problem has really come against righties. Guy like Juan Soto, Josh Bell, they can hit power off of anybody, but I don't have anyone with a 4+ rating in the bomb detector for the Nats team, and it's okay. It's okay to not get to everybody on a 15-game slate. What up, Sean? What up, Will? We are in the building. Let's go. What's up, Cynics? Slinksy. Appreciate that. Sub. On Twitch, it's called follow. Jays are looking like a very dangerous. Jays are looking dangerous. I hate to admit it, but they are clicking, and their pitching is coming together. They were able to get Merriweather and was it Pearson back to the bullpen. Robbie Ray's out there slicing and dicing. Alek Manoah is coming into his own. And then, of course, Hunyin Ryu is a very serviceable SP3. So definitely a team I don't want to see if I'm a Yankees fan. And I am a Yankees fan. And the Yankees are hosting the Cleveland Indians today. Zach Plesac on the bump, taking on Corey Kluber. Fun fact about this game that you should not do anything with, but Indians have been no-hit twice when Zach Plesac pitches, and Corey Kluber has has a no-hitter to his belt this season. Means absolutely nothing, but just a fun fact to remember for no reason. Indians implied run total 3.8, Yankees 5.3. If I'm being real with you, I'd probably take the over on the 3.8 on the Cleveland side. Yankees with a horrendous loss yesterday in Camden. Was 1 out away from a win. Clay Holmes throws a wild pitch, scores a tying run, and then I hate Austin. Austin Hayes able to clutch up and walk it off for them. So that hurt. Still won the series, but you got to win the games you're supposed to win at this point in the season. So the Yankees letting that one slip away was very, very, very painful. And then if you were a Yankees and Giants fan, last night was not your night to watch the last minute of your team, right? What are the odds for Cy Young in the American League? I think Garrett Cole's 1, and then Robbie Ray and Carlos Rodon are the next 2. I'm pretty sure it's Garrett Cole's to lose at this point, being this late, but I definitely think you can make a strong case for Robbie Ray. 3 times, actually. 3 times. Oh, he got no hit 3 times. When he was, that's crazy. I knew it was twice. I didn't know it was 3. That's wild. Yeah. So matchup wise here, Corey Kluber on the bump for the Yankees. Last couple starts for Kluber, he's looked solid in the first inning, and then things kind of unravel. And what's most alarming with Corey Kluber is his tendency to lose the strike zone. Starts putting free base runners on. Walking hitters, and then that creates the propensity for the big inning. If you want, if you're a Yankee fan, you want to see more length out of Kluber. He got to 82 pitches in that last start, but 2 walks, 3 walks, 2 walks, 3 walks. That becomes a problem because that's going to waste pitches. It's going to put more stressful innings on the starters, and then his inability to go deep as it is calls to an already depleted and taxed bullpen, and that's why I'm kind of thinking Indians over 3.8 is a pretty solid look. Yesterday, the bullpen leaned on, I think Chad Green came out. I know Clay Holmes was out. Let me pull up. And then there was a 3-day-in-a-row stint where Aroldis Chapman came out the pen. So they are in dire need of Jonathan Loáisiga to come back. And until that happens, the day-to-day heroics of this bullpen become very, very unpredictable, because they don't have that guy like Loáisiga that can eat you 1-2 innings in the middle of it all and bridge it. So Chad Green threw 25 pitches on Wednesday. He might be available today. Wandy Peralta probably doesn't pitch today. They don't like to go 3 days in a row. I mentioned that Chapman went 3 days in a row. Will they call him today? I guess he didn't go a ton of pitches, so maybe. Albert Abreu probably doesn't pitch today, so you might see some Michael King, Lucas Licky, some southpaws. Whoa. Yo, Dave with the baller. The baller membership. Appreciate that, Dave. That's love. You guys are starting to come together. I'll be live. I'll be honest. When we first went live, there was no one in chat. So I was just like chilling. But, man, you guys are showing up some love. So I appreciate that a lot. Oh, God dang. Could this be an Andrew Heaney day? I don't know. I'm just saying Indians under 4 right now seems a little soft, you know. What's up, Jim? Hi, Gun. DraftKings says Sale is out of my optimizer. Puts him out to play in lineup. So is he playing or not? So I think Chris Sale hasn't been activated from the Rona IL yet. But everything I've been looking at has him playing. I know on the Labs page he's not listed yet, but I'm almost positive that he is playing. Yeah, and they even have the out tag on him. But I'm pretty sure he's scheduled to be the starting pitcher today. If you're using the Labs, they may not have him in the pool yet. Hopefully they'll fix that. I've moved on from Labs, but I think that's the conundrum, is that officially he may not have been activated yet. And it might just be a formality for the opto that you're using, you know. What's up, D Holmes? Appreciate you stopping by. C-Wiz, what up, C-Wiz? Appreciate you guys. A couple new names here. All right, you guys are making me feel better with myself. Stack-wise, Zach Plesac, contact pitcher. Against righties, a 16% K rate, a 186 home run per 9. Yankees should have plenty of righties that could take advantage of those numbers. Aaron Judge and Carlos Stanton, maybe Luke Voit catches the lineup. I don't know. Stanton has played the field quite a bit in the last couple days. And then against lefties, just a 17% K rate. And while his ground ball rate is elevated against lefties, a guy like Joey Gallo does stand out to me because when he's not striking out, 34% clip, if you can neutralize that by slicing it almost in half with Plesac's 17% K rate, he does have a very violent uppercut swing that maybe can dig into one of those Plesac baseballs. So Yankees do profile decently well for me against a contact pitcher. You put the ball in play, good things can happen when you got some of the highest exit velocities in baseball. So I am in on the Yankees at 5.3 implied runs. And then against Corey Kluber, he has allowed a lot of power and walks to righties, and ironically, the best player is Jose Ramirez, but Franmil Reyes might be able to exploit this spot. Reyes is a guy with a ton of power, 269 ISO since the beginning of last year against righties, an 834 OPS. So yeah, good spot for him. Reyes and J-Ram, my first two options when it comes to the Cleveland Indians, but I don't mind a stack that might involve a Miles Straw, maybe a Bobby Bradley, something like that. Like I said, I am keen on the Indians putting up a couple runs here. Hopefully they still lose, but I am keen on them getting to Kluber just a little bit. And then the Yankees have so many left-handed relievers in the pen that you might see some more positive at-bats coming for J-Ram and Franmil Reyes. So maybe we don't put the Indians in one of the 5-man stacks. Maybe we keep them as a 3-man stack. But they're definitely a team that could stretch together a triangle of guys with positive at-bats for 9 innings, right? So I'm in on that. I'm probably not going to play any Kluber at 9K. The pitch count hasn't been super stretched out to put him in the mix against the the 30 other pitchers, you know what I'm saying? And he's just been so unpredictable. So I'm not going to get to Clover. I'll let the field have that one. And no Plesac for me either. Plesac just doesn't look like he's going to give me the strikeout potential. I will play average pitchers with some strikeout stuff against the Yankees, but Plesac seems to be more of a pitch to contact on purpose guy, despite an 11.1% swinging strike rate. Dave says, do you suggest the Rocky stack in DraftKings tournaments? Not really. Rockies tend to be one of the weaker teams in the league on the road outside of Coors Field. Josiah Gray does have power problems, over a 3 home run per 9 to both sides of the plate, and he walks lefties. So it's not like a zero-sum range of outcome for the Rockies to do well here. But I would say like my interest would be pretty concentrated on a few guys to take advantage of these home run numbers. Trevor Story is the guy with the highest rating my bomb model in terms of Rockies today. And maybe C.J. Cron, Charlie Blackmon. But it's definitely not one of my first options as a stack. Probably not even one of my first 5 options. Josiah Gray, to his power problems, does have really, really good strikeout numbers, a 1-in-4 K rate with a really, really high swinging strike rate. So just seems like 2 combustible elements coming together. There's definitely a world where the Rockies can stun us here, but pre-flop, I don't like to put a lot of faith in them if I'm coming into it with a limited amount of lineups and every team is on the slate. But I'll definitely reserve my right to go up or down on the Rockies as I come back later after going through every game, you know. What up, Jonathan Adams? What up, EB? All right, y'all are starting to show up. Not going to lie, I was really worried. I was about to say, do I need to cancel all my Friday streams going forward? Because, we heard crickets when I hit that switch. Twins at the Blue Jays. So the Twins traveling to Canada. Andrelton Simmons actually cannot play. He's got some visa issues. He's trying to become an American citizen, and apparently every time you leave the country, it resets the timer. I don't know, but he's been put on their restricted list, so Simmons cannot play this game. So expect, I guess, Nick Gordon to be in his spot. We don't have a confirmed lineup yet, but that is something that we know will happen. He's not a big offensive bat, but he's a huge defensive guy. One of the better defensive shortstops in all of baseball the last couple years. And Michael Pineda can be a guy that pitches more to contact than not. Blue Jays do profile as one of the high upside stacks right off the top. Michael Pineda taking on Hyun Ryu. Let's start with Pineda. Pineda has a 3.87 xFIP to righties, a 4.6 xFIP to lefties. He definitely performs much worse to lefties than his righty split. In this Blue Jays lineup, not likely to throw a lot of lefties at him. Maybe Corey Dickerson, Breivik Valera I got as a switchy, but Corey Dickerson would be the guy that I think could really take advantage of those splits. But this Blue Jays team is just ridiculous, and Michael Pineda, he can still bleed red against right-handed, hitting a 260 average allowed and 1.25 home run per 9. So I'm not looking for Michael Pineda to shut down the Blue Jays, and I'm definitely not looking for this Twins bullpen to shut down the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays are absolutely one of the premier stacks, I think, on this slate. If you can fit them, prices is going to be tough. 5,600 for Semien, 59 for Guerrero, Bobichet's at 51. But the rest of the team under 5K. So I think on a 15-game slate with so much value potentially on the slate, think about all 30 teams, you're going to have a couple 2-3K guys that we feel like are underpriced or in good opportunities. It's not going to be that difficult to get to the Blue Jays. Blue Jays right now implied run total 5.5, so yeah, they're right there in the mix for me. Hyun Ryu is 8.6K on DraftKings. Twins against lefties, there's a couple guys I definitely fear for your typical lefty. Buxton, Polanco, Donaldson hits lefties historically for great power, but Ryu seems a little bit cheap. I could take a couple shots on him. And Simmons, while Simmons is not a menacing bat, he does boast a pretty low strikeout rate. The strikeout propensity goes up a little bit. Last couple outings for Hyun Ryu, 2.16, 5.2 innings. As much as 27, as little as -6. There is a wide range of outcomes here, but I do think at 8,600, there's a positive enough opportunity for him to get to 2.5x his price point, get to 20 plus, and he might be a guy that makes the back end of my pitcher playing pool. I don't have a ton of interest in picking on him, although this season an elevated xFIP to righties, a 20% K rate, and a 1.31 home run per nine does suggest that he could leave one up over the plate for an opposing righty. A Buxton, a Donaldson would be my bet. Maybe a Miguel Sano, but there are still plenty of strikeouts to be had in this lineup. So I definitely would have more Ryu interest than Twins stack interest. I probably don't stack the Twins at all. I would just allow a couple of these guys to fall into the player pool of the optimizer and just let it roll, right? We did just get a Twins lineup confirmed. It is Byron Buxton, Polanco, Josh Donaldson. By the way, Donaldson spent many years in Toronto during a stretch where Toronto was a legit contender. So should receive a warm welcome there, maybe a little bit more narrative if you're into that for him to perform better. He's batting third, so he will get that guaranteed first inning at bat, and maybe give him 4 or 5 implied at bats throughout the day. Ryan Jeffers is going to be behind the dish. So official Twins lineup is out. Yeah, let's get caught up on chat. What up, Josh Jennings? Pineda's been good somehow. Pineda's been he's a serviceable pitcher. He's definitely not as bummy as some of the Blue Jays opponents in the last couple weeks. However, he's certainly not like a shutdown, lockdown guy that I would lean on to silence this ridiculous offense. So it is what it is. Winker's back. Let's go. My phone is going off right now. Let's move on to the next game. Red Sox hosting the Orioles. We got a pair of southpaws projected to be dueling here. Keegan Aiken taking on Chris Sale. Right now, Red Sox have one of the highest run totals on the entire slate, 6.2. Chris Sale should be activated, come off the IL or the Rona list, and take the bump for the Red Sox. Red Sox, Yankees, and Blue Jays are in gotta win every game mode, and the Red Sox have no excuse not to beat the Orioles. Keegan Aiken pitching for the Orioles. Aiken against righties, just an 18% K rate this season, a 5.5 xFIP, 287 average allowed, and 168 home run per night allowed to righties. This Red Sox lineup will come out predominantly righty, more than likely. You might see Rafael Devers, Kyle Schwarber as your two lefties. Well, guess what? Keegan Aiken doesn't really hold lefties at bay either, and Devers and Schwarber can hit anyone with some pop. So like the Red Sox stack quite a bit. The last 2 days, the Orioles have seen a left-handed starter in Jordan Montgomery and Nestor Cortez, and both of those pitchers have gotten over 10 strikeouts. I think Cortez got 11 and Jordan Montgomery got 12. So it doesn't get easier for the Orioles going against Chris Sale, who has better strikeout stuff than both of those pitchers. And this might be a tough time for the Orioles, all things considered. 9,500 for Chris Sale. Chris Sale just going on the Rona list makes me think that we shouldn't expect a big dip in pitch count, right? It's not like he took a month off for a physical ailment. I guess it was, he probably had physical effects. But before going on the list, we saw him get into the 90s. Probably goes deeper that last game if he doesn't get smacked up for 10 hits. But just one earned run somehow in that last outing. So I do like Chris Sale quite a bit. It's been 11 days. So, yeah, I don't expect him to dip too much in pitch count. And he should be somebody that trends positively in terms of ownership. If and when that news comes out that he's activated, some sites still being hesitant to call him the starter, right? Aiken's been solid as of late. I mean, sure, results-wise, I ain't got time to get into the results debate, but Keegan Aiken's metrics are just not good. Last couple games for Aiken, 3 earnings, 4 earnings, a home run in every game. Not really that solid. I guess he didn't die against the Blue Jays, so that's good. Did okay against the Angels, so does everybody. Yeah, I don't really think it's that great of a game log, but give me the Red Sox for sure, and then this Orioles bullpen can feed well. High bomb detector ratings for the Red Sox for sure. 4.2 for Renfroe, 4.13 for JD Martinez, 4+ for Bobby Dalbec. And then, of course, Xander Bogaerts hits for extremely good average against lefties with a little bit of ISO. So, yeah, I'm in on the Red Sox stack for sure. In on Chris Sale. I will likely not get to any of the Orioles. If I looked up and saw an Austin Hayes in a lineup at 2,900, I wouldn't feel like it's the end of the world. Mancini's kind of cheap. There are some guys that can hit lefties decently, right? A bunch of 270 plus averages and some ISOs that are creeping up. A little bit of green here, but I just don't really want to get out of bed on a Friday night to pick on Chris Sale. So I'll probably stick more towards Chris Sale, Red Sox ownership, and if a couple Orioles hit in a lineup here and there, sure, but I'm not going to get too crazy with it, right? Let's go to the next game. He faced the Mighty Jays twice and did okay. I mean, sure. Pirates at the Marlins. Will Crow taking on Eliezer Hernandez. The Pirates have an implied run total of 3.3. The Marlins 4.3. This game being in Miami, Marlins Park, one of the more pitcher favorable environments on the slate. I will say Eliezer Hernandez has some strikeout potential that I'd be interested in if this Pirates lineup comes out surprisingly righty heavy. Right now I got way more lefties than righties, just about 4 righties including the pitcher, because Hernandez does have a 311 xFIP and a 28.4% K rate to righties, and that dips dramatically against lefties so far. 4.9 xFIP to lefties, 19% K rate. I guess it would be worth validating that or invalidating that with a sample size against lefties, because I do believe he was sustaining a decent K rate in the minors to both sides of the plate, and I do think he's a strikeout pitcher at his best. So let's go pull up his Fangraphs card, chop his splits in half, and see what we might find against lefties, and then maybe we can strength of schedule it a little bit too. Red Sox are either going to complete bust or they're going to score like 13. Yeah, that's Red Sox baseball. So he's actually got more innings this year against lefties. And in those innings, 16 strikeouts, so less than a strikeout per inning. 7 homers against lefties. Holy. 7 and 19 is definitely not what you want. Can we isolate that even further? Home versus lefties, 7.7 K per 9. Away, 7.2. And a lot of those homers coming at home, too. So, man, I want to believe in 6,800 Hernandez here because the Pirates suck, right? I don't know, chat. Are you guys gonna take some shots here on Hernandez? I feel like I'm inclined to have a little bit of exposure, maybe to put a roof on him of 10%. I'm not saying I would get to 10%, but just to put him in there, give the opto a little bit of flexibility. 7, 14, 14. Maybe there's not like a tournament winning range of outcome here. 19 against Pittsburgh. I'd take 19 at 6.8. Pitch count 90. I don't know. He's all over the road, so definitely not a priority. But in mass entry, I might consider putting him in the back of my player pool. And then Will Crow. This guy has just been really, really bad. A 5.12 xFIP to lefties, 4.89 to righties. Against righties, a 3.13 average allowed, a 2.47 home run per 9, a 1.5 home run per 9 against lefties. PNC Park, not as favorable as Marlins Park, but definitely more to the pitcher side of things. I don't want to get behind Marlins bats here. This is just like a really weird game that I hope is very, very average. But if I wanted to pick on Will Crow based on these metrics, Brian De La Cruz has a 333 average against right-handed pitchers, 836 OPS. I don't have a ton of high ISO. Jesus Sanchez, Luis Diaz so far have over 200 ISO, but this is just an ugly list of hitters and a really not a warm and fuzzy list of pitchers either. So is this game just one of those we put to the side and hope for the most mediocre average results that don't break the slate? Or do you think this is where we separate the men from the boys in MME and we take some shots on both stacks here, but more so the Marlins? I think I'm going to be a punk and put this game to the side. Just really, really meager totals. It's a bunch of it's bad hitting, bad pitching. I think Hernandez has a ability to be a good pitcher on this slate, so I don't want to like group him up in that bad pitching label. But man, the hitting in this game is just not fun. If we wanted to pick on Hernandez with those lefty power splits, I guess Yoshi Sasugo profile as well. Brian Reynolds has the 396 rating on the bomb detector. Sasugo did get over 4. But man, oh man, it's not fun. Sasugo would be on the south side of 3K. Maybe. This game is just a bunch of, oh my god. I'm going to put that game to the side. If I come back, a couple of those guys make the lineup cool. But, like, look, we got the Dodgers in Grand American Ballpark. We got the Red Sox against Keegan Aiken. We got the Blue Jays at home. We got meaningful baseball. It really doesn't tickle me too much to get to Marlins Park for the Pirates and the Marlins, right? So I might just eat that L if that's the slate breaker. Dodgers at the Reds. Walker Buehler taking on Luis Castillo. Dodgers have a run total of 4.8, Reds 3.8. We do have confirmed lineups for both teams, so bear with me just a moment. We get these confirmed so we have the most accurate analysis possible. Mookie Betts, Max Muncy, Trey Turner, Corey Seager, Justin Turner, Will Smith, Cody Bellinger, and Gavin Lux. I mean, come on. You putting this lineup for 9 innings in Great American Ballpark. I'm going to stack the ballpark every day. The red side of the dugout, Jonathan India, Jesse Winker back like he never left, Nick Castellanos, Joey Votto, Mike Moustakas. I think I saw Tyler Naquin got put on the IL, so hope he's okay. Max Schrock is batting 8th. I'm less inclined to feel great about the Reds just because Walker Buehler has been really, really solid. But Luis Castillo is somebody I think can bleed red from time to time. I guess there's definitely a world where both pitchers outperform the hitters here. But, man, it's just not – I'm just not built to fade a team like the Dodgers in this ballpark. Bad things happen to good people. For this entire series, I'm going to be stacking Dodgers pretty hastily. So this is maybe more of a team talent and ballpark boost here versus me saying I think Castillo's bad. I just think the opportunity for them to put up big numbers is pretty strong here, even though their run totals on the south side of 5. Castillo, 23.6% K rate so far to righties. Against lefties, the xFIP rises to over 4.3. And he has a walk problem, the lefties, 13%. So it's going to be pretty staggered here. If he creates some unnecessary traffic, walks a few, couple solo shots turn into 2-run shots, then they hand it over to that bullpen. The Reds bullpen definitely has been below league average in terms of walks and homers as well. So I'm in on the Dodgers, but that's not necessarily a team versus pitcher thought process. It's more of a team versus ballpark. Walker Buehler, 10.2K, just a couple $100 more than Chris Sale. I definitely understand, if you're a little bit trepidatious when it comes to Sale coming off the IL after a not great last game. I'm leaning more to Sale just because I've watched what Montgomery and Cortez did against the Orioles, but Walker Buehler's been a rock, right? So if you think Buehler has a shot at 30 DKP even in a tough ballpark, definitely wouldn't ignore him. I think right now I'd probably start him off as my tier 2 option. Cincinnati's been really, really strong at home. Buehler on the road has been a little less effective than he has been at home in Dodger Stadium, averaging 19 fantasy points per game. Against Cincy in one start, 18.9 DKP earlier this season, 10 strikeouts in those 6 innings, but did allow 5 earned runs. So I don't know if I'm guessing that final inning got away from him. But he does have at least the potential to be a top 2 scorer, top 4 scorer on the slate. So he's in the player pool, but the Reds at home are also a problem. I don't know why I feel like I trust the Dodgers more here, even though the Reds have been super solid. I just feel like Walker Buehler's been a rock, right? So if I was going to take some shots on the Reds here, I guess in 150 lineups, what's 5-6% of Red stacks going to cost me equity-wise, just in case all hell breaks loose? This is a lineup that kind of writes itself. 1 through 5 is really, really strong in terms of individual upside. A lot of 200-plus ISOs in 1 through 5. So I think this is one of those spots where I just stack the ballpark. So if you see me in your contest with some Reds and Dodgers stack and they happen to go off, like, it's not that I think Buehler or Castillo is weak. I just think these players have potential to get there. And the fun thing about Friday nights when 15 games are on the slate, there's a lot of times you don't get ridiculous ownership on one spot, right? 30%. So I don't even feel like I have to give up a ton of equity to have decent shares of Dodgers and Reds and feel profitable if it does hit, you know? Let's get caught up on chat here. What do we do with the Dodgers? I'm going to get exposure to them, but I understand that, you know, we're not all running 100, 150 lineups. And I think in 20 or less lineups, I'd probably have to wait just a minute before I committed to saying I'm stacking Dodgers. But in mass entry, there's no reason not to. But if I was running 20 or less, 3 or less, one lineup, it's definitely a tougher decision. I think in the shorter entry, I'm more inclined to look at the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, teams like that. But I just love the change of scenery here for the Dodgers. Thoughts on Wheeler today? I'll get to that game in just a minute, Jim. I wouldn't touch a single bat from the Reds. Reds are ice cold. How much Walker Buehler are you pitching, right? I'm you know, I don't get too caught up in the cold streaks, the hot streaks, but if you think the Reds, like, people don't stay cold forever, right? And if we're playing tournaments, you want to get to them when they get hot again before the rest of the field does. So I don't know. I think that's a dangerous mindset to have in tournaments, but it's not a crazy approach if you're only firing off a couple bullets. But if you are avoiding the Reds at all costs, then why wouldn't you be super stoked to play Walker Buehler is kind of where I'm getting at. Why am I clicking a 9K Clover? Jonathan Adams, don't do that. That's not. I wouldn't. I will literally have 0% Corey Kluber today. I just won't. Hopefully he does well. Like we said, the no hitter narrative is there with Zach Plesac on the bump, but I just can't do it. Reds are ice cold, but against Walker, I'm saying it's a tough matchup. So if you're saying there's a cold Reds team going against a really good pitcher, well, how much of that pitcher are you going to have then? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people just throw their hands up and not make a decision there. And I think that's a decision spot, right? You can see Buehler dropping 30 DKP. You can see the Reds put up some runs here. But if you're completely avoiding the Reds, why wouldn't you play some Buehler? They don't give Castellanos run support. That's another dangerous stat in baseball, man. That's not really a real thing. Tigers and the Rays, next game on the docket. Both lineups for these teams are out as the train comes in. Akil Baddoo, Jonathan Scope, Robbie Grossman, Miguel Cabrera, Jamer Candelario, Harold Castro, Eric Haas, Nico Goodrum, and Victor Reyes. So that's our confirmed Tigers lineup. We do have a Rays lineup as well. Rays are pretty much coasting at this point, heading to some postseason baseball. Brandon Lau, G-Man Choi, Ben Sackett. That's a profitable spot, right? Austin Meadows, no Nelson Cruz here. This is a very Sunday-ish looking lineup, guys. Not playing Casey Mize, that's not where I'm getting at, but I was hoping to maybe get to some Rays stacks here, and this is not the lineup that I want. If there was a pitcher that I trust a little bit more than Casey Mize, I actually wouldn't hate throwing a couple bullets at this lineup. No Nelson Cruz, no Wander Franco. It's It's definitely a lineup. A lot of strikeout potential here. However, Casey Mize, his biggest problems as a pitcher come against left-handed hitting. A 4.79 xFIP to lefties, a 2.31 home run per nine. This is a big spot for guys like Brandon Lau, G-Man Choi batting second, Austin Meadows. There's a world where Mize gives up a couple bombs even in this watered down Rays lineup. In terms of the bomb detector, just Brandon Lau and Austin Meadows have 4+ ratings. So maybe those would be the forefront guys. It's still Tropicana, still a big slate, so I don't want to lean on the Rays too much. But Mize is a guy that probably doesn't go more than 4 or 5 innings anyway, right? They've been kind of babysitting his innings going forward. So then you dip into that Tigers bullpen, and it's a very beatable bullpen. 2, 3, 6, 5, 4 innings last couple starts for Casey Mize. So looks like they are trying to babysit him and just kind of get him some reps as we get to the as AJ Hinch as we get to the end of the season. So this could be a bullpen game really, really fast. So I definitely don't mind cherry picking some Rays here. They do have a 5+ total, which is higher than the Dodgers, and I'm high on the Dodgers. So don't be off the Rays if I sounded sour on the Rays, but this is definitely not the A team for the Rays. No Franco, no Nelly Cruz. Let's get caught up on the chat here. Casey might not make it past the first inning. Not if his really, really bad lefty splits come to play, right? Been on the Rays all day. Again, Lorenzo, don't let me get you off the Rays, right? It's not their A lineup, but Mize's weaknesses are could be really, really highlighted against an all but one righty or all but one lefty lineup for the Rays here. Rosarena being the only guy in the right. Dude, actually looking at both sides, both teams, we've got 4 total righties, so that right side batter's box might be pretty clean. But yeah, I think Mize's weaknesses could still come out to play. So I don't want to put you off the Rays, but it's not the Franco Nelson Cruz lineup, you know. Why do I feel like Wheeler always has a floor game against his old team Mets? Yeah, maybe. Speaking of which, let's go to that game. Phillies at the Mets. Taijuan Walker hosting Zach Wheeler. We've got Odubel Herrera, Gene Segura, Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Didi Gregorius. Freddie Galvis is batting 6th. Brad Miller and Matt Verling. The Phillies, so I don't know if you guys paid attention to baseball yesterday. The Phillies put up like 17 runs, and it was all essentially on the bat. Odubel did well, but Bryce Harper had a game yesterday. A game. So those of you that do believe in hot and cold, Bryce Harper's not gotten you. Jesus H, what a game log this is. Less than 10 DKP once in his last 10, but yesterday, 3 hits, 2 walks, 4 ribbies, 2 doubles, and a homer, 38 DKP. Like, you had to have him on anything that he was even remotely on, and the team put up 17 runs. So, look for Bryce Harper to stay hot. Definitely going against a better collection of pitchers in this game than what the Cubs threw out. But Taijuan Walker, hey, 4.74 xFIP to lefties, 23% K rate, and an over 1 home run per 9 to lefties. There's still a world where Bryce Harper's just like a really, really elite. It almost doesn't matter who you are. And he's not really getting that type of buzz this season because it's easy to hate Bryce Harper, right? But he is crushing it. So Bryce Harper can play in my lineups wherever I can fit him. The Phillies have just a 4-run total, one of the lower totals on the slate, so it's easy to be down on them. I kind of like I have a mind to maybe get to a Philly stack. The run total is telling me I'm dumb, but man, these are some fun names to click on. Walker being not really a shutdown, right? You would think with Walker's low K rates that it would correlate with a very high ground ball rate, but it really doesn't. 36% ground ball rate against lefties, 43% to righties. That's higher than his fly ball rate, but his fly ball rate is not that much lower than his ground ball rate. So here's a guy that I think is overperforming, right, versus the result. And I think the Phillies' run total is a little bit low, so maybe I'll be on the over on that run total, and I think I can get to some Philly stacks here. Zach Wheeler on the bump for the Phillies, going against his former team, the Mets. The Phillies would like to throw some L's at the Mets as the NL East gets really, really bad, and the Mets look like they're slipping away. In 4 games against the Mets, he's averaging 27 DKP, which is what you want. We take that all day long, all day strong. Last couple games from him, 28, 32. So if we're looking for a potential 30-point upside, it's definitely there in a guy like Zach Wheeler. I don't have a Mets lineup yet, but I can go look at the K Factory, and maybe I give Zach Wheeler 90 to 100 pitches. I think that's another thing I do like about Wheeler is he usually has a pretty liberal pitch count. Just kind of aesthetically put that in on display. 101, 99, 100. So yeah, about 100 pitches is a reasonable expectation for him. So if I give him 100 pitches in the K Factory against this projected lineup, I walk away with 8.9 strikeouts. So closer to 9 strikeouts. So definitely somebody that's going to project well. Really, no matter what the lineup is. So I'm in on Wheeler. I'm going to be down on the Mets if a errant VR Lindor, some of those guys fell into the lineup, sure, but Zach Wheeler's just really good, so I'm not really going to find myself there a lot on a 15-game slate. Not going to pitch any time on Walker. I think I'm going to disagree with the total a little bit and kind of believe in the Phillies to be a little bit better than this total and have me a little bit more upside than maybe this total suggests as well. And I'd gladly get to a lot of these lefties: Odubel, Bryce Harper, Didi Gregorius, Brad Miller. What's the pitch report on Walker? Can I get to one of my favorite Didi stats? Walker throws a 20% slider. Maybe not. Maybe not. Realmuto's been swinging a hot bat. Favorite pitcher today is Logan Webb. Yikes. In player props today, who are your top pitchers? I haven't really dove into player props yet, but if you want, we can take a peek over at PrizePicks.com. If you guys don't have access to a sports book or want to not have to worry about VIGs and value and all that stuff and just want to bet the props, go check out PrizePicks.com. If you sign up using code GUNDACKER, they will match your first deposit up to $100. So $20 turns into a $40 bill. $100, $200. Looking at a couple of these props, I kind of dig Clover under 6. I don't know why I'm just a Clover hater today. My projection really likes Wheeler to go over 7. I had him at 9, we just said. But I don't really like to bet strikeout props that deep. I like to stick between 4 to 6.5. Walker Buehler's at 6.5. I guess we could see that. Taijuan Walker's at 5. And I'm kind of inclined to lean more towards the Phillies side here. 5 is kind of up there. Let me close Slack. I don't know how to turn Slack noties off. Yeah, I guess he's done more than 5. Yankees strike out a lot. Washington is Washington. Phillies, 18 Ks and 4 stars. All right, I'm not going to deal with that. All right, so far I kind of like the Clover under 6 call. They kind of juicing some of these. Dylan Cease at 7.5. That's up there. Singer got scratched, so I don't know if they'll have a number for his backup. Adrian Hauser over 5 sounds interesting. We go down to check his out. I know his matchup's going to be super, super soft. 20% said he's not really a strikeout guy. And sometimes when I'm spooked by the strikeout prop itself, I'll go look at the fantasy score. So now we're getting some good numbers. Like Walker Buehler over 37 sounds real fun. Especially, he's a guy with 100, 110 pitches, might get his 6 innings, get that quality start, get about a strikeout per inning or less. So I don't mind looking his way for that. This is based on Fanduel scoring, so you will get extra points for the quality start, the win, and then the strikeouts aren't as important. So maybe Walker Buehler over 37 for me. What's Clover? If Clover's at a 6K, he's got to have a ridiculous point projection. He's not even on here. So I guess give me Buehler over 37, Clover under 6 strikeouts, and then Dylan Cease over 36 is probably something I would be in on. Let's look at that. I like PrizePicks a lot. Like, you can really be creative with how you. I guess 6 innings is a little much to expect out of Dylan Cease. Boston's a tough spot. KC still got to 98 pitches. So, yeah, I'd probably take Cease over. So, the Cease over fantasy point projection. That's on the edge of comfort, but I'd probably take it. The Walker Buehler over, and then the Corey Kluber under. Probably 3 that I'd be leaning towards. I put it at a flex, right? Wheeler strikeout prop is 6.5. Did I not just see 7.5, or am I tripping? Or is that for like a sports book that's offering you 6.5? Oh, it is 6.5. It's not a gimme spot. I guess we'll go to the K Factory, give them 90 to 100 pitches, and see what it spits out. Against this projected lineup, 90 pitches is 7.5. So I get about 1 plus, and then 100 pitches gives me 8.3. So that might be a sweat. That might be too much of a sweat versus the ballpark. But he could definitely get it. Mize isn't throwing more than 50 pitches. Yeah, Mize has been on a innings limit. Is there any props on Casey Mize? That might be somebody to take advantage of. I don't see any strikeout props on him. And then I don't know if we got a fantasy score prop on him. No, that definitely would have been something to take advantage of. No Casey Mize numbers here. Okay, no. The Yankees lineup is out. All right, when I get done with the rest of these games, I'll circle back and catch up some of the straggler lineups. But yeah, good stuff. Good questions, guys. If you guys have anything else, man, keep them coming. We got time. We're at 2:53. I got about a little less than an hour. Rangers hosting the White Sox. Next game on the docket. The aforementioned Dylan Cease on the bump, taking on the southpaw Taylor Hearn. Leody Taveras, Isaiah Falefer in the confirmed lineup. Adolis Garcia, Nate Lowe, Nick Solak, Willie Calhoun, DJ Peters, Jose Trevino, and Laurel Hernandez. So Nate Lowe, I typed that wrong, didn't I? Boom. All right, so that's our confirmed Rangers lineup. We don't have a White Sox lineup yet. I'm assuming that the roof is still going to be closed up here in Texas for the time being. However, the temperatures are getting low enough that I wouldn't be stunned if they pop the lid pretty soon. So maybe look out for that. Right now, it looks like Labs is giving me weather information as if they're going to have the roof open, so maybe watch that. But it seems like they like to keep the roof shut and advertise the air condition. Dylan Cease, 9,100 on DraftKings, has amongst the highest strikeout potential on the slate. Looking at this Rangers lineup, 30%, 29%, 26%, 36% in 4 of their bats. So plenty of implied strikeouts, at least in half of their lineup. A couple of scrappy guys, but Dylan Cease definitely profiles to be a solid spot here, especially if the lid's on the roof. So Dylan Cease will be in my player pool for sure. Don't mind him at all. I don't think I'm picking on him or taking any shots on any of these Rangers. Taylor Hearn, a southpaw. Against righties, a 1.82 home run per 9. Against lefties, 1.45. We really can focus on these righty splits because the White Sox are a team that I love against lefties. I mean, look at these numbers since the beginning of last year for Tim Anderson, Luis Robert, Jose Abreu, Yasmani Grandal. The ISOs are through the roof against left-handed pitching. And if this lineup comes out looking like this, 1 through 4 all day long, all day strong. I don't know how long we should expect Hearn to have an expectation of being on the bump, but the Rangers bullpen's not really going to push me away from a White Sox stack. White Sox have an implied total of 5. So 6 innings out of Hearn. Last couple starts, less than a strikeout per inning. Contact guy, giving up some bombs here. Has given up 2 or more homers in 3 of his last 4 outings, including against the lowly Los Angeles Angels and the Cleveland Indians. So, White Sox are definitely a couple bats deep for me in terms of short entry. So, you could if I was making a cash game lineup, I wouldn't be surprised if I was leaning towards a couple of guys like Luis Robert, Yasmani Grandal, somebody like that. Grandal on 3,600 price point on Fanduel looks like a pretty solid play. Fanduel, a lot of times you see catchers get lower ownership than they deserve, and Grandal is definitely a guy that can make the field pay. So give me some White Sox here. Just keep in mind that this lineup is not confirmed yet. It could come out looking a little bit different. Maybe they give somebody a day off because they are another team like the Rays that are just kind of coasting this final couple of weeks here. So you might see some more Sunday special lineups. No Hearn for me. Give me some Dylan Cease. And then the same thing with Cease. I mentioned it on the Brewers starting pitchers, the White Sox starting pitchers. There's less reason for these guys to be exerting 100 plus pitches. I'm not saying they're going to limit him, but if you get 5-6 solid innings out of Dylan Cease, it would behoove La Russa to just call it, right? Keep these guys just well oiled going into the postseason. No reason to try and get more than you need out of them. So maybe don't expect the CGSO out of the starters for Milwaukee and Chicago and teams like that, right? Let's keep it moving. CEA says for some reason PrizePicks won't let me play. It's legal here though. I don't know. If you contact support, maybe they can explain it. I know some states have recently opened up that maybe didn't always allow users to play on their site. I don't know if your state's one of them, but yeah, it's. I think their rules or their regulations might be a little different than your average DFS site. They have a different spin on it, and maybe they just don't have licenses in some spots. But right now, I'm really just making stuff up. I don't really know the situation. Zach Davies taking on Adrian Hauser. Cubs at the Brewers. The Brewers have a 5.5 implied run total. That's good for top three so far on the slate. The Cubs at 3.6. The Cubs are really, really, really bad. Adrian Hauser, 7,100. Mentioned his strikeout prop looks at least interesting because of the matchup. I wouldn't be stunned if Hauser didn't quite get you there. But what was his fantasy point prop, if there is one? Hauser at 30. I'd probably take that 30. The hope there would be to either get into those strikeouts that the Cubs are notorious for allowing, or two, just get to that sixth inning, get that quality start. And he's gotten his 6 innings or more in 2 games straight. Cleveland, St. Louis, 6.1 against Pittsburgh. So I'm in on Hauser's over on PrizePicks at 30. 30 even. So yeah, I'll add that to the list of picks I'm digging. If he doesn't get to the 6th inning, it is what it is. But this lineup gives you a couple of ranges of outcomes to get to that 30 fantasy point threshold. One being the strikeout rates are extremely high in this Cubs lineup. Outside of Frank Schwindel, Rafael Ortega, we're staring down the barrel of 30% K rates through and through this projected lineup. Maybe the confirmed lineup comes out a little bit different and it shakes things up a bit. But right now, this is a Cubs team that's very, very beatable. They have an implied run total of 3.6, so that'll bear well towards projecting potential quality start for those PrizePicks projections. So yeah, give me some Hauser fantasy prop over 30 fantasy points. I'll be in on that. And I'm also in on a little bit of Hauser for DFS standards, just because we've seen the Cubs allow some big games to no-name pitchers. Same with the Angels. So yeah, a little bit of that. Matchup-wise, the Brewers stack. They have a lot of juice in their run total. Zach Davies, a pure contact guy at this stage in his career. 15% K rate to lefties, a 15% walk rate to lefties. This is going to be a pretty lefty-heavy top of the lineup more than likely. A little bit of power problem to lefties, 1.4, and against righties as well, 1.6. So lots of opportunity for the Brewers to get into a big total against this Cubs team. And as I just showed you yesterday, the Phillies dropped like 17, so it doesn't get better for the Cubs when they dip into that bullpen. So Brewers should be a highly sought after stack. And looking at their price points, some days you look at ownerships for teams and you get a little bit surprised and you're like, what? That doesn't make sense. the Brewers might be one of those teams where at first you think, oh, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, all these household name teams are on the slate, but the Brewers having the run total that they have, no one on the team is over 5K, and this is looking like a path to getting you double 10K pitchers, right? The Sales, the Wheelers, the Buehlers, guys like that, and then you could full stack a Brewers team that is in a really, really good spot. So it definitely feels like inefficient pricing on the Brewers per their run total, per their matchup. So give me the Brewers stack for sure. Give me a little bit of Hauser. No Davies, no sir, not even if there was a fire. And I'm probably not inclined to get to any Cubs here. Even though Hauser's a contact guy, doesn't give up power. A 50+% ground ball rate to lefties, almost a 66%, 65% ground ball rate to righties. There's just not a lot of high launch angle and elevation to the pitches he throws. So that's why I like his point prop on PrizePicks. So yeah, give me some Brewers, a little bit of Hauser, nothing to do with the Cubs, and we'll keep it moving. Elijah Hernandez thoughts. I think Hernandez is cool in deep field tournaments. I don't feel inclined to get there in 20 or less. If he thrived against the Pirates, sure. I think one of his best games has come against the Pirates in terms of fantasy points, but that was just 18. So you'd have to really miss out on Hernandez going full-fledged insane with the strikeouts on a 15-game slate to feel like you're missing out, right? Like, you can really, really settle on guys you know for sure has a reasonable range of outcome to get you that 20 plus, because we got 30 pitchers to choose from, and this is not like your 5-game slate where we might take 13, right? I think double barrel 20s, 30s even in the pitcher spot is probably going to rise to the top and be able to be supplemented with some of these either mispriced stacks like the Brewers, or inefficient pricing, or just really strong value spots for a couple of these bats, Brew Crew BVP against Davies is very weak. Come on, Josh. Oh, look, we're not a BVP family here. But if someone brings it up, I'll look at it. Davies has definitely regressed very fast lately, 2 homers for Colton Wong, batting 158. 1 bomb for Eduardo Escobar, batting 182. Daniel Vogelbach. All right, yeah. Historically, Davies looks like he's not been getting shelled here, but man, this is not the same Zach Davies, right? Zach Davies last year to this year. Last year he had a 2.73 ERA. This year a 5.4. Last year he had a 4.32 Sierra. This year a 5.33. Last year a 5.13 expected ERA, which is bad to begin with. This year a 6.27. Last year a 107 WHIP. This year over 1.5. He's lost 5% on his K rate, dipped to 1% on his swinging strike rate. His called strike rate's gone down a little bit. That explains the rise in his walk rate to lefties. The barrel rate's still elevated. So, yeah, it's not the same Zach Davies. So, I don't know. It is what it is. He's still, he's a soft tossing righty, right? And in a way that does limit the hard, I would say hard contact, but the barrels, because fastballs home runs like fastballs and fast swings, it's science. It creates it's science, trust me. But no, it's when you're throwing 88 and 79 miles an hour, right, it's easy for those balls to just end up being long flyouts, whereas if you catch a 95, you turn one around, right, at 95, 96, 98, it has a little bit more juice, a little bit more speed off the bat. So I guess Davies playing spoiler here and there is not outside the range of outcomes. And on the road, Zach Davies has just a 0.6 home run per 9. So maybe, the Wrigley Field wind is helping out those stats. But everything else is really, really bad for Zach Davies. So sure. Maybe the Brewers get spoiled there. Let's move on to the next game here. Mariners at the Royals. We got Chris flexing on his haters, taking on John Heasley. So Heasley was not the starter this morning. It was Brady Singer. And Singer got scratched. And I don't have any big league stats for Heasley, so I'm wondering if he is a minor league call-up. And the way to find that out is by going to MLB.com and pulling up his card. 24-year-old kid out of Plano, Texas. born in 1997. What are you doing with your life? Solid ERA against lefties and righties in the minors. 41 innings against lefties, 55 strikeouts, a 1.24 whip, 0.62 ground out to air out ratio. He's got 9 homers allowed in 41 innings to lefties, so that's above what you want it to be. And then 64 innings to righties, also 9 homers, 243 average, 1.21 whip, and 107 ground out to air out ratio. So it's looking like his biggest problem is lefties when it comes to power and elevated batted ball data. He also has allowed 21 walks in 64 innings to righties. So numbers that stick out here, and this is in... I want to make sure that this is AAA, not AA. Sometimes you can't be safe or too sure. It's AA. Oof. So those are his AA numbers. So if you got power problems to lefties in AA, what's going to happen when you get to quad A? So yeah, Mariners are in a weird spot here. Mariners are one of those teams fighting for that AL wildcard spot. Heasley feeding those lefty splits, and really those righties. Like, he gave up power to righties as well. Maybe not as high percentage-wise, but you hardly ever see a smooth transition into the majors, even if it's against a team like the Mariners that don't feel super impactful. So maybe the Mariners are a sneaky stack here. Let's see, last couple games, 5 innings, 4 innings for him. Strikeouts 7, 8. Yeah, again, strikeout stuff is there, but that's AA. So I might get some exposure to the Mariners stack just based on the unknown, right? A lot of times you can write off a stack because of the unknown, and Heasley definitely has some question marks around him at the big league level. It's not fun paying $5,500 for a Seattle Mariner, $5,300 for Kyle Seager, but they're definitely in the scheme of stacking the Mariners, definitely 2 guys I want. Maybe on Fanduel they become a little bit more fun, but I think I'll have some Mariners stacks here, and I don't think the field probably chases Mariners and Kauffman Stadium on a 15-game slate. So give me some of that. Chris Flexen, really, really low K rates to both sides of the plate. Has kept the ball in the park for the most part. However, on the road, things get different. A 1.43 home run per 9 on the road, 293 average allowed, and a 16% K rate. So Salvador Perez, 3,800 on FanDuel, still it's very, very viable, really, on FanDuel as well. One of the league leaders in home runs, period, much less as a catcher. So it beefs up that catcher spot if you want to project ceiling. Merrifield, Adalberto Mondesi, all guys that I would put in play. And really, this bottom half of this Royals lineup, especially a guy like Mondesi, where you can neutralize their egregious strikeout potential with a guy that's pitching to contact, put the ball in play, the speed of Mondesi plays. I can get behind a little bit of Royals action as well. 84 degrees out there in Kauffman, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that looks like it could be the hottest game on the slate. So even more positive environment, positive boost to maybe be on this game as the sleeper of the slate. So give me exposure to this game on both sides. I'm not going to get to either pitcher for sure. Let's go on to the next game here. D-backs at the Astros. Madison Bumgarner once dated a girl named Madison Bumgarner, no relation. Brandon Bielak. Wasn't Bielak a bullpen piece for the Red Sox in years past? So I'm assuming that he's not a stretched out starter, but I could be wrong. Let's pull up his information. 3 innings, 0.2. So yeah, it looks like he's not a stretched out guy. So we probably ignore the pitching prowess of the Astros as viable options today. Bielak doesn't have really good numbers against righties. A 5.78 xFIP to righties, 17% K rate. There's really not a lot of righties in this projected D-backs lineup, and sometimes it be like that. But I don't think I'm getting to D-back stack here. Madison Bumgarner, though. I like picking on Mad Bum in the right spot. Astros are one of those teams that they always look like they're in a massive, massive spot. But could this be a trap spot? I don't know. I'm willing to take shares of the Astros. They have an implied run total of 5.8. That's massive. That's the top 3 on the slate. Madison Bumgarner does have a lot of batted ball data to suggest that there could be some power to be had here. A 41% hard contact rate to righties, 46% fly ball rate, 20+% line drive rate, not striking guys out. So big numbers, big opportunity for the Astros, and they are all atop the RunDFS.com MLB bomb detector. If we resort it here and go from highest to lowest, remember this bomb detector algorithm is kind of built to show us, or really for us to focus on guys with a 4+ rating, assuming that there's a large hitter and pitcher sample size, and there's a large pitcher sample size for sure for these Astros. And I've got 4 Astros as the in the top 6 of the bomb detector, with Alex Bregman being number 1, Jake Myers 2, Jose Altuve 4, and Chas McCormick 5. So yeah, you absolutely can find me in the streets with some Astros stacks. The Astros lineup just came out. They may not come when you call, but they're always right on time. So we would really be able to fine-tune our thoughts and come up with a couple guys that we're putting in the pool here. Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Yuli Gurriel is batting 3rd. Kyle Tucker batting 4th. Carlos Correa batting 5th. Marwin Gonzalez, Jake Myers, Jose Siri, and Jason Castro. So Siri has shown a little bit of pop in his major league stint so far. I am curious to see if that is something that's in his like DNA, his pedigree as a minor league hitter. Like, was he doing this in the AAA, or was that just like a big game explosion? I'm here. So we'll look at his splits in the minors. First of all, MILB, he had 16 homers and 362 at-bats, 24 stolen bases, 318 average, 369 OPP, and 921 OPS. So fine for bottom of the order. Really good for bottom of the order. And against lefties, we've got a 330 average with power. He had 5 homers in 97 at-bats, so really solid. So yeah, he had some power down there. He also had some stolen base potential. He had 24 stolen bases, 3 caught stealing. So yeah, Siri can make my lineup for sure. So there's no Yordan Alvarez is the big bopper missing. Outside of that, though, I mean, the K rates are low. The bomb detector ratings are high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in this lineup with a 4+ rating on the bomb detector. Yeah, you can give me the Astro stack here for sure. And that's it. No Chas McCormick. Let's move on to the next game. Cardinals hosting the Padres. We got Vince Velazquez, former Phillies great, taking on Miles Michaelis. Cardinals lineup is out. Tommy Edman, Paul Goldschmidt, Tyler O'Neill. My hat's getting in the way. Nolan Arenado, Yadi Molina, Dylan Carlson, Edmundo Sosa, Harrison Bader. So that's our confirmed Cardinals look. We don't have a confirmed Padres lineup yet, but the totals for this one, 4.4 implied run total for the Padres, 4.7 for the Cardinals. Just seems like one of those games that exist. Anyone that would be viable on the Padres is probably a little uncomfortable price-wise. 5,700 for Tatis, 51 for Machado. Sure, if they fall in the lineup, I'm not going to go out of my way to get them out. The Cardinals do project pretty cheap. The Cardinals, by the way, we didn't do a live stream since then, but boy, did they take it to Tyler Megill. And Megill just joins the list of elite righty pitchers that should have dominated the Cardinals, like all of the Brewers, that the Cardinals just showed up and said, you know what? You're chalk against us. Let's bop you. Vince Velasquez, elevated X-Whips to both sides of the plate. Cardinals are hitting baseballs really well right now. It is Busch Stadium, so it's going to tend to be pitcher friendly, but Velasquez has a 2+ home run per 9 this season against righties, against lefties, almost 1.5, a 299 average. So not going to see a lot of lefties in this lineup, but could Goldie, Arenado, Tyler O'Neill, could they stay hot? Absolutely they could. So maybe some of those Cardinals bats could be lucrative in big field tournaments.
Bomb detector wise, I got 4+ ratings on this lane of Goldie, O'Neill, Arenado, and Yadi Molina. And Tyler O'Neill looks like one of the more viable options. You get a 17% barrel rate betting top 3 in the lineup, so you're going to get that guaranteed first inning at bat, and maybe 4 or 5 implied at bats to take a stab at that barrel rate. So I don't mind looking his way. Velazquez can find a strikeout against righties for sure, and O'Neill can strike out against righties, but I definitely don't mind looking at a couple of these Cardinals bats to take advantage of Velazquez's splits. And like I said, if you had some Tatis, you had some Machado, sure. Now I'm not going to talk you off of that. 4,300 for Tatis on Fanduel. Sure, we can get there. You just made Siri start on my phone. Well, hey Siri, buy a romper. Just kidding. Angels. So the Angels might. DraftKings does this weird thing where if I don't know, they do this weird thing with Ohtani where they don't put him in the player pool until they know for sure if he's pitching or not. It's looking like he's not. Is this Oliver Ortega? Yeah, Oliver Ortega is the opener or projected opener with Kyle Tyler as the projected long reliever. And we don't trust guys with 2 first names, so he can kick rocks. So let's get that going and list Oliver Ortega as the opener for the Angels. And Cole Irvin, contact lefty for the Athletics. So Angels lineup is not confirmed yet, but they do have a ton of high K rates, and this is where the rubber meets the road, right? Cole Irvin, a 15% K rate to righties, 18% to lefties. Unstoppable force, immovable object, contact guy versus a strikeout team. If we want to lean more towards the contact rates, Fletcher, Ohtani, Phil Gosselin's just shown a little bit of pop lately, but overall since the beginning of last year, just a 101 ISO against lefties. Jared Walsh is a guy that has a lot of power, but you tend to prefer his platoon to lean his way, and the rest of the lineup just looks really, really bad. If Mayfield got into one, sure. But this is just like one of those spots where I hope Irvin eats innings, doesn't give up the world, and doesn't impact the top 1% of lineups on a 15-game slate. So I'm just kind of hoping for the best there. Ortega and Kyle Tyler being the options for the Angels in terms of pitching. Ortega doesn't have a ton to pick on, and neither one of these guys have a lot of sample size. So if we're going to play the Athletics, we might just be betting on talent, which is fine. Josh Harrison, Starling Marte, Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Jed Lowry. Like, you're not going to feel bad to have those guys in some stacks. 6K for Marte, still up there. What he brings to the table, a lot of stolen base potential, likely going to give you double-digit fantasy points. The stack itself might feel a little bit expensive, but I'm not going to overthink price on a 15-game slate. We're just out here trying to get exposure and focus on lineups versus the prices. At least I'm not. And if you hit Ohtani in your lineups, go for, sure. I'm not going to talk you off of it. I did have his pitching price and not his regular price, looks like. And they have him now first base outfield at 5,400. So this is a guy that leads the league or is in contention to lead the league in homers. You get him at 5,400 instead of 6K plus. Going against a contact lefty, then even though it's a lefty-lefty matchup, the fact he's going to allow you to make contact, Ohtani's definitely in play at 276 ISO against lefty. So give me a couple of those guys. Not getting to either of the pitchers here. A couple of what the heck athletic stacks, right? One game left on the docket. For that, we'll take a pause for the cause. Guys, VIP memberships are up for you guys to go get. RunDFS.com. If you guys want access to the MLB VIP spreadsheet, the bomb detector, my player pool, which I'll be carving out here after the stream, and then of course the NFL spreadsheet, which will also have a similar index game portal, player pools, stats, projections, all that good stuff. In addition to the spreadsheets, my player pools, you also get access to the premium Discord, looking a little something like this. I'll be in the voice chat up until lock. You guys can shoot the breeze, you guys can listen in, or my favorite parts, grab a mic, join the conversation, make a couple friends in the DFS space. And then, of course, we'll have a couple of group chat sessions for NFL this weekend as well. We had a we didn't plan to have the candle burn still, which was the Saturday night voice chats that really bled into lock. I do like to get a little bit of sleep to enjoy the games, but we'll probably have another Saturday evening voice chat, and then of course before lock on Sunday. So if you guys are looking for a community of sharp-minded DFS grinders to be part of, I definitely invite you to plant your seed in the Run DFS community. So go to rundfs.com, get yourself a VIP pass. Try the week pass out, right? Worst thing that can happen, you don't like it, oh well. I guarantee you you'll probably find some value in it. Over 95% of Vipers renew for more subscriptions. So I know the prices might feel a little bit different versus some of the competition, but it's a little bit more of a fraternal family-like environment, and the fact that we do the pre-lock voice chats, I think, is something that separates us from the rest. We've got one game left on the docket. The Braves at the Giants. Ian Anderson. The Andersons got tickets to the game? How they get tickets against Logan Webb? Braves got postponed yesterday. I guess they were postponed because of the travel, so Ian Anderson got himself an extra day of rest. Logan Webb on the bump for the Giants. He's been rock solid for them. This is kind of the game of multiple ranges of outcomes, right? Ian Anderson, definitely a guy that can steal a good game here or there, and Logan Webb has been really good. 30% carry out of him on the season, 206 average allowed, 0.66 homer per nine at home in Oracle. But the Braves have been solid, and they are in that battle for the National League East. Number one team in all of baseball, Giants here. They did clinch their playoff berth, however, I don't think they've clinched the division quite yet. Dodgers are still in the conversation, so they can't let up yet like teams like the Rays, teams like the White Sox can do. So look for them to still come out here and try and get the most out of each game. Logan Webb is an uncomfortable click just because I have so much respect for the Atlanta Braves, but he's somebody that's been getting it done to his credit, right? He's right there at the Chris Sale price. It's so easy to just click Chris Sale, and that's probably my knee-jerk reaction. But the propensity for him to go out there and drop 30, 27, 29, it's very real. At home, averaging 20. He dropped 27 against the Braves in his one outing against them. So it's possible for him to be a huge part of making some noise at the top end of your tournaments. Ian Anderson, I'm probably going to lean on the side of, nah, I'm good, bro. 4-4 xFIP on the road this season, 22% K rate. Giants have just been pretty rock solid, so I'm just hoping that he doesn't break the slate at 8,500. I think generally this is a game I'm just kind of staying down from. The Braves have a really low run total, just 3.3. That's amongst the lowest you'll ever see out of Atlanta. So maybe another vote of confidence for you Logan Webb truthers, but another reason for me to be a little stand backish on Ian Anderson. So I'm probably just avoiding this game stack wise. But if some of these talented bats hit these lineups as obscure late night hammers, Albie, Soler, Freeman, Duvall, LaStella, Buster Posey, if some of these guys were in some of the lineups scattered through as errant late night hammer darts for a little bit of power, sure, I'll allow it, but I'm not going out of my way to get exposure to this game. 15 game slate. We can't play every game, and I think this is one of those games I don't play. I will be meditating on what to do with Logan Webb because there are strikeouts in this Braves lineup, right? 26% K rate on Jorge Soler, 26, 29, 23, 25, and then the pitcher spot. Definitely a world where Logan Webb does just fine against a more righty than lefty projected Braves lineup. So for that reason, I probably introduce him into the pitcher playing pool or the pitcher player pool. But I don't know that I ever get to like an extreme amount of ownership on him. So keep that in mind here. That is our 15 games here. I will circle back here and get some more confirmed lineups entered and maybe reprocess some thoughts. But if you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, be sure to drop them in chat. We'll talk it over, man. I appreciate you guys. As always, if you are getting out of here, all I ask you hit the thumbs up, maybe double check to see if you're subscribed. Over the weekend, look for some more content for NFL. I won't have a stream on this channel for baseball tomorrow. I think I'm scheduled on Osimo's channel in the morning, probably with EMAC again, but don't quote me. I think it is with EMAC. And if it's like last week, it was really, really early in the morning. So if you are a morning grinder, you want to start your day with a cup of coffee and get ready for a full day of sports, baseball, college football, stuff like that, definitely check me out on the Osmo channel in the morning. And if you're on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundacker, DMs are open. I'm definitely a chatty Cathy, especially when the Yankees are on. So what do you say we go back, we get some confirmed lineups punched in, and maybe rethink about some stuff. So yeah, if you guys had any questions, comments, concerns, whether it's Slate specific or not, let me know in chat. Even strategy, I don't care. Indians and the Yankees lineups both came out. Miles Straw, Bradley Zimmer, Jose Ramirez, Franmil Reyes, Bobby Bradley, Harold Ramirez, Owen Miller, Roberto Perez, Andres Schmidt. Owen, he plays for the Cowboys, right? Owen Juan, DJ LeMahieu, Anthony Rizzo batting second, Judge, Stanton, Gallo, Gio Urshela, Brett Gardner. Here's one, Kyle Higashioka. So I noticed this last time on Clover start, is that Gary Sanchez didn't catch Clover. They went with Higgy. I don't know if that's what that's about, because Higashioka normally just catches Garrett Cole, but I wonder if that's like something that they're trying to do for Corey Kluber, thinking that maybe just they literally speak the same language. Gary might be a little harder to talk to with Kluber, so maybe that's something to watch for. Maybe Kluber finds more success with Higgy, but Higgy, I'm pretty sure, caught him last game, and it wasn't really that staggering. So my initial thoughts on this one was I'm not paying $9K for Corey Kluber. I thought that the Indians' run total under 4 was a little bit soft. All things considered, Kluber has had some walk rates or walk problems as of late. Matchup-wise, no Gary in the lineup. Who else is missing? No Luke Voit in the lineup. So if we're going to dare righties to take advantage of Plesac's 1.8 home run per 9 to righties, it's going to be on the bat of Judge and Stanton. I typed Rizzo twice, didn't I? And Carlos Stanton. Judge and Stanton. Don't really look at these other righties for much power. So Judge, Stanton. And then Gallo's interesting, like I said. If you're going to allow Gallo to make contact, Zach Plesac has a 17% K rate to lefties. Gallo can get into one. But the Yankees may not project. They might over-project, right? They have a 5-3 run total. They've definitely not been hitting the screws off the ball, right? Let's get caught up on chat here. This pennant race is stressing me out big time. My Giants barely hang on to first place, bro. Who you telling? Josh, don't miss me with that bowl, okay? This pennant race. You know what happens if you guys don't win the division? You play a one-game wild card. You guys are pretty set up to win a one-game wild card, all right? You know what happens when the Yankees don't make the playoffs? Gosh dang it. So you literally have clinched the playoffs. So rest in that. Take solace in that. Lorenzo says, I'm hard-clicking Logan Webb, my favorite pitcher of the day. All right. Ian Anderson is one of the best changeups in the league. Good to know. Is that a pitch report extraordinaire? Is that like, do the Giants suck against changeups? Yeah, I got 31%. I have a changeup not like getting a ton of. The Giants are actually like good against changeups, but that's good to know. I'll watch for that for sure. Gun, let's get a Red Sox Bernie on your. Okay, buddy. A Red Sox beanie? I don't know if I'd be caught dead wearing a Red Sox beanie, man. No offense. That's just law, bro. One off Brandon Belt. Yo, Lorenzo, how did you got married, right? The wedding went great. Had a ball. Dude, I want to see some pictures, bro. Are you on Twitter? Show me some pictures, man. One line tournament on Fanduel. Who you pitching? Incredible question. If we get news that Chris Sale is off the chain, I mean, like I said, I just watched Nestor Cortez get 11 Ks against the Orioles. I just watched Jordan Montgomery get 12 Ks. Like, Chris Sale could just hit a new level. Yeah, you worry about fatigue and whatnot coming off the Rona IL, but the Red Sox, they need somebody to pick it up. And I think I've read that Chris Sale's been pretty outspoken. I joke about the Yankees playoff race right now, but the American League wild card race is going to come down to the wire. And right now, the Red Sox are on the inside looking out. The Yankees half a game back. So, like, you have to win everything that you possibly can. And you cannot lose games to the Baltimore Orioles. So I think there's a lot of narrative, there's a lot of emotion, and a lot of purpose behind Chris Sale today. So I'm kind of leaning Sale if I had to grab one pitcher. But Zach Wheeler makes a lot of sense. You can get to Buehler's, guys like that. But I think Chris Sale is the guy I'm leaning on the most. Baltimore versus lefty, even if it's Sale. Like I said, Baltimore's faced lefties the last 2 games and have just been carved up. Jordan Montgomery had 12 strikeouts yesterday, and I believe 11 of them were swinging strikeouts, like just straight up whiffs. So Orioles were just in swing mode. I don't know if the weather was getting to them or what, but it was not pretty if you were the Orioles fan for the first 5 innings. 9th inning went well. I listened to the Braves beat writer and local SF radio. He mentioned that. That's interesting. I have to look at what the metric is for that changeup to have that much buzz, because in the pitch report, it's not like getting astronomical numbers. Chris Sale's no limitations. Yeah, so then Chris Sale, this is why you're the ace, bro. Go out there and give me some innings, give me some strikeouts. Blue Jays lineup did come out. We got George Springer, Marcus Semien, Vladdy Jr., Bo Bichette, Teoscar Hernandez, Corey Dickerson, Lourdes Gurriel, Danny Jansen, and then Jake Lamb. So they did find a way to put another lefty in the lineup to maybe take advantage of Michael Pineda's numbers. I'm still right there on the Blue Jays stack. Pineda wouldn't surprise me if he held his own here, but this Blue Jays offense is just on fire right now, and much like the Red Sox, they have a lot to play for. So I'm expecting them to try and stay hot here and get runs where they can get them. And Vladdy Jr. is in the hunt for the Triple Crown. Orioles at the Red Sox. We don't have lineups yet for that one. To Dodgers and Reds, we had that one already. Tigers at the Rays, that one we already had. The Phillies lineup we already had. White Sox lineup came out. So I'm in on the White Sox against an average to below average lefty. Luis Robert leading off. I love that. Yohan Moncada batting second. Abreu, Grandal, Eloy Jimenez. So it does look like there's not going to be Tim Anderson again. And that's definitely a step backwards in terms of stack upside. However, I'm still there on the White Sox. Gavin Sheets did crack the lineup. And then Romy Gonzalez doesn't have enough numbers to pop up in the spreadsheet. He's a righty, so I guess no reason not to go look up his minor league numbers and see if he's some sort of minor league beast. Romy Gonzalez. Lorenzo, do you have a Twitter? I might give you a week pass as a wedding gift. How about that? So get on Twitter. DM me on Twitter. We'll get you a week pass as a wedding gift. Against lefties in the minors, batting 290, 931 OPS. Nice. That's what you want. 5 homers and 69 at bats. That's what you want. Can steal bases. Can get caught, but 21 stolen bases and a couple doubles. So yeah, Romy Gonzalez. Don't leave him out of your White Sox stack, and he's pretty cheap on both sides, batting 6. So I'm cool with that. What else we got? Did we get a Cubs lineup? No. Brewers? No. Astros lineup came out. I think we caught that while we were talking about it. We did. Cardinals. Boom. So that's everything. That is all of the lineups, chat. I think in about 10-15 minutes, Austin was going to go live with their MLB show. They will have a lot more context behind ownership tonight. Ownership is definitely very important. I suspect on a 15-game slate, ownership doesn't get too log-jammed, and we don't have to get too crazy with thinking about 40% spots. But you never know. Maybe one of these pitchers rise to the top. We did just get a Mariners lineup. I did mention that game, I think, might be my sleeper game to target. High temps in that one, below average pitching, and a guy that no one knows anything about in the Royals pitcher. And when they look him up, they might see not horrible double-A stats, and we've seen that not play out favorably in the majors. So Crawford, Mitch Haniger, Kyle Seager, Ty France, Abraham Toro, Jared Kelenic is batting 6th. Luis Torrens, Jake Fraley, Cal Raleigh. Got married 8 years ago. Do I qualify? I mean, maybe on the 10th year. Oh, snap. Guys, it's my mom's birthday. Don't let me forget, babe, if you're watching. I should probably tell my mom happy birthday. Appreciate the anniversary talk. I don't know why they made me think of my mom's birthday today. Shoot, I just got married. Everyone just got married all of a sudden. Bunch of eloping sons of guns out there in the MLB DFS community. Oh, man. Y'all are wildin'. Anyway, guys, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord in about 20 minutes, talking lineups, making my player pool to lock. Then we are on the grind for NFL Week 2, and I will try and get out a bunch of content. I'll probably try and get a slate breakdown video, and then maybe 2 showdown videos, one for Sunday night, one for Monday night, but I'll probably stagger the release on that one. Gavin Sheets got scratched. What are you going to do? We'll fix that up. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundacker. We'll try and get you an updated bomb detector about 30 minutes before lock. Otherwise, man, I appreciate you guys making a little bit of my time be a little bit of your time. I hope you crush it tonight. I'll see you live on the channel Monday. See you in Osmo in the morning. And hopefully I'll see your screenshots tonight, man. I love each and every one of you. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.